Hello and welcome back to Frogboy X1 Gaming. I'm Andrew and today I want to do another follow-up video to the one that I just posted about bottlenecks. I feel like maybe I made some comments in that last video. I don't want to anger people or make people feel like I'm not listening to them, because I am listening to you guys. I do understand exactly what you guys are saying and talking about when it comes to bottlenecks. I just feel like the term bottleneck in PC gaming gets thrown around a bit too much, especially when, especially when there's a lot. I mean, like, no matter what build you create, there's always going to be something that's going to bottleneck your overall system. I've got games that run incredibly well on the 7900 XT and 4080 Super. But then I also have games that just don't run that well. They lack poor optimization, and that's a big thing. Some games are just not optimized well for current hardware. And if you really go and you really look at things, I think that the biggest thing, honestly, plaguing PC gaming as a whole, even the consoles, is down to 100% software. I think that the software is the biggest problem, because I feel like our hardware is so damn advanced these days that the overall experience that we could be getting if we had better software would to be taking better, or be taking more advantage of the stuff that we already got. Now, you guys say that the 5900X is bottlenecking my system. And to an extent, I mean, that is, obviously the CPU could be better, and it could be providing significant, and it's not even significantly more performance. It could be performing 15, 20, 30% better in some cases. Obviously, that is the case. That is true. But when you say bottleneck, like I said in the video prior to this, I do kind of feel like a bottleneck would be trying to pair something, significantly older with something much newer that's going to really hamper production. Now, the things that I look for, and the things that I would look for going forward in terms of like a system bottleneck, would be really bad stuttering, just not performing very well at all. Like super drastic fluctuations in the performance of the game. Having like one or two games in your library that show issues like that could literally be just poor development, poor utilization of the hardware that you already have. But if you have like a whole bunch of games, like a significant portion of your games are starting to like really have a lot of problems while trying to run those, then yes, that's when you would start really considering like a bottleneck. Just having a little bit older CPU, my friends, like a 5900X versus what's out. I mean, like, this was the generation right before the new generation of CPUs. So, I mean, we're barely on the precipice of actually getting new CPUs. So that would only make mine 3 generations old. Yes, I get that PC is a fast moving space, and that there's always something, right around the corner from coming out. And, I keep hearing this in, a lot of videos all the time. The 4080 Super literally came out three months ago. It came out at the first of the year, did it not? So, I mean, effectively, the GPU is only a few months old, and now everybody's saying, no, you should just wait until the next one comes out. So basically, with NVIDIA, I mean, even AMD to an extent, with NVIDIA, they do mid-gen refreshes pretty much every generation. From what I can tell, that's been the case. So if you run out and you buy the first bunch of everything, usually that leads to buyer's remorse later down the road. I mean, am I right? Like, you come at, like, everybody that bought a 4080 for $1,200 are now looking at the 4080 Super that's a little bit slightly more powerful, and it costs less money. So in terms of like running out and just being the first to have the next greatest thing, it doesn't always do you any good. Like, all of the YouTubers out there get these GPUs for free. They don't have to buy them, so they come out, they hype us up, and they're like, yeah, this is so awesome, and blah, blah, blah. But then when we actually get that and we take it home, and then we look at that, and then the new, you know, mid-gen refresh comes out that usually adds a little bit more performance, or it does this, or it does that. That usually tends to lead to a little bit of freaking buyer's remorse. At least in my experience, that's been the case. At least to a certain extent, to be completely honest with you. Now, with AMD, I kind of feel like it's a little bit different because their prices start dropping drastically. So anybody that, you know, is buying that stuff, they can literally just wait until the price drops to a price that they're comfortable paying for that product. And, you know, either way, AMD is literally the bang for your buck freaking company, at least in my opinion. I absolutely love AMD. And there are features on AMD that are absolutely incredible that I absolutely love and use myself. You know, but I mean, I like the fact that NVIDIA is pushing things forward, is, you know, creating, you know, new stuff in the space of like gaming and stuff. But everything that NVIDIA creates, like ray tracing or DLSS or some of these other, you know, features that the AMD or the NVIDIA is like pioneering and like bringing to the forefront, you have to understand that those new technologies need to be worked into existing software and be created and pretty much bolted on top while we're waiting for new technologies to actually have those built and baked in so that they can be more performant. So when we're looking at bottlenecks, my friends, a lot of it has to be contributed to the software. The software is not keeping up with the technology. And you know, like, here's the thing, like with the 5900X, say that all developers tomorrow started using direct storage immediately. That would significantly improve the overall CPU performance of basically any CPU or any PC that can actively use or utilize direct storage APIs to do that. Now, I've been following along with all of this PC stuff, my friends. Like there's a lot of information to like bring in all at once, especially when you're starting off. That's why I 100% do not have a problem with people buying pre-builts. A pre-built is usually going to be, you know, pretty optimized for the most part and keep you in that space. It's once you start doing the upgrade is where everything starts to, like, where you need to start really researching and learning and stuff like that. Now, I have, over the last couple of years, bought multiple GPUs and, you know, put together, you know, a pretty good amount of, you know, different types of configurations and stuff like that, to where I feel like I've gained enough knowledge to at least kind of understand it and be able to talk on some of these matters. And, you know, I make videos based off of the information that I have, that I've received, that I've learned. And then that changes as time goes on. I mean, like if you go back and you watch some of the earlier content, like you'll see a progression of knowledge that I've actually gained and things that I've learned, and I've started to understand and accept the different parameters that PC offers to gamers. And I'll tell you what, guys, I personally feel, and this is like with my experience, that your mid-range GPU is going to give you that. It's kind of like the perfect place to put yourself in, because it's a lot easier to get rid of bottlenecks and stuff. I'll tell you what, like the 7800 XT and the 4070 Super, they usually run very well with the build that I have right now. So when you look at that, and then you start going up to like a 7900 XT or anything higher than that, that's when, you know, your bottleneck starts to creep in a little bit more. And, you know, it makes the overall experience, it definitely gets better, but not significantly better, because obviously you are, you know, trying to pair higher end part with you know, dude, a 5900X is actually a fairly high-end CPU. I mean, it's not like a bottom of the rung. It's not like a 5600 or a 5700 or a 58. It's a 59, and then there's a 5950. It's almost the top of the stack when it comes to CPUs. So you're trying to tell me that, like, you know, and so that's why I push back a lot on a lot of the stuff that comes through the channel, is because you kind of have to. If I don't push back, then I just get run around in circles, and then I'm, you know, trying to make everybody happy when I'm just trying to basically figure this stuff out for myself without having to like really, you know, like get frustrated all the time, because it's frustrating, man. Like, I've invested a pretty good amount of money in this channel. This is probably the leanest year yet, to be completely honest with you. I've spent less this year than I have any other year since I started the channel 3 years ago. This has been the year that I was, you know, that I've been like, yeah, I just want to take things easy. I want to not spend a whole bunch of money on the channel this year. I want to see if the investments that I've already made are going to, you know, pay off, if they're going to grow the channel, if the content is going to get, you know, if I'm going to be able to do this long term, it has to be sustainable, my friends. It has to be sustainable. Now, I get that everybody's very, very passionate about PC gaming, about console gaming, about all of this stuff. I am as well, man. Like, I'm a gamer. I want a game. And, you know, the deeper down the rabbit hole I go with, like, PC parts and this and that and all of this stuff, the farther I get away from the actual content that is, you know, that is the bread and butter, the core of the channel. And I mean, it, you know, I kind of have to bring in like PC and everything else, you know, just to kind of fill in the gaps, or I would just be another Xbox bashing content channel like everybody else for clicks and views and money and all of that stuff. And I'm not here to be an e-beggar either. So yeah, man, I kind of feel like the content that I'm making and the progress that I'm making and the things that I'm learning as I go, I hope that I really do hope that it's beneficial to you guys, because if it's not, you know, then that sucks, man. But at the same time, I'm gaining so much knowledge of PC gaming and the ins and outs and all of that stuff, guys. Like, I'm learning a lot, man. Like, I'm getting pretty wise. I'm starting to be like, yeah, dude, I don't know if a 15% upgrade for $1,000, because here's the thing, man. And my wife just said this today. She's like, you always do this to yourself. You always got to have the best. Because I bought like the Sony ZV-1F camera, and I was like blown away. And so I went out and I got another one, a better camera. And okay, you know what I mean? Because I like that. I like to, you know, I like to try something and then immediately upgrade like pretty quick too. Like, I like to do that. Honestly, my friends, I am planning on doing an upgrade for the PC. You know, I am going to be going to the AM5 platform, just because I do want, you know, to keep fresh and move along with technology. So I am planning on doing like an AM5 build. I'm waiting for the next gen CPUs to come out. Obviously, if they're probably just going to launch the regular ones and then the X3D variant a few months later. So I'll be waiting for that, and I want to try that. But I do kind of feel like I want to be at I'm kind of in a wait and see pattern, because I really do like the extra cores of having a 12-core CPU. I do. I probably would love having a 16-core CPU like the 5950X or something, and that's kind of where I'm at. You know, like, I kind of want to upgrade to that, but I'm just kind of hoping that the architecture moves around just a little bit, so that when I do get something with the X3D variant, that I'm getting an actual, you know, a performance boost over that. Because if not, I'm just going to get the 8900X. The 8900X and probably just skip the 3D versions of those CPUs, just because of the fact that, like, I don't necessarily think I'm getting a significant bump in performance overall to justify. See, I don't know. I want to see what the new CPUs are going to be like. I want to know, you know, their AI capabilities. I want to know if they're going to be if they're going to have GPUs on there, integrated graphics. I want to see just what those are going to be. And, you know, I get that you guys, like I get it, man. I understand how passionate you guys can be about this. And I'm passionate about it too, trust me. But I want to make like a good decision because I don't want to have to be doing this like all the time. And, you know, I feel like a CPU should last more than a couple generations. I really do. And so when I do upgrade, you know, I get a bigger performance bump than just upgrading every single generation just for the sake of upgrading every single generation. Let them work out the bugs, let them work out some of the kinks, and then move over to it. So I appreciate you pioneers for buying all this stuff right when it comes out and upgrading your stuff and doing all of that. I understand that you guys are getting a little bit better performance than I am, but I'm actually fairly happy with the performance that I get out of the build that I have right now. So thank you guys for watching. I'm sorry that the last video was a little more upbeat and not necessarily like the nicest video, but you guys got to understand that I'm only human too, and when I get overwhelming feedback from the community, you know, just telling me like I'm always wrong all the time, every time I turn around, every freaking PC out there has a bottleneck in one way or another, whether it's a software bottleneck, whether it's a freaking hardware bottleneck, whether it's a mismatched paired system. There's always a bottleneck. You're never going to get away from a bottleneck. There's no such thing as a perfect PC build. There's always going to be something that's not going to give you the overall best performance out of any given build that you ever make. Now you can get pretty close, and you can definitely, you know, find some things that are really good, but I don't think that the perfect build works. I don't think the perfect build is there. I don't think the software's, you know, up to par. I don't think that, you know some hardware is just way too powerful for other existing hardware on the market. Like right now, I would liken my situation, and this is honestly, I would liken my situation to a 4090. Anybody who has a 4090 right now paired with any CPU on the market, you're probably bottlenecked exactly like I am right now. Your GPU is more powerful than what you have and what is available. I mean, in my case, I could definitely go out and buy a new CPU and close that gap. But right now, there's really nothing on the market to really fully let the 4090 completely stretch its legs. So that's pretty much all I can say right now. If you guys like this content, don't forget to like and subscribe. I will see you guys in the next one. Thank you so much for watching.